What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of FlagPlus Football's First and Goal podcast. I'm your host, Brent Bodkin.
And I'm Quaysie Maule.
All right, so the playoffs are underway in most divisions. That was the case last week and definitely this week as well. A lot of excitement, a lot of stuff going on. FPF right now, the hottest place to be if you're playing flag football, right? I mean, like I said, all the playoff excitement is here. And men's and women's, 5v5, 6v6. Like, if you want to play some flag football, like I said, this is the place to be. You're not going to find any better competition than right here in FPF.
Yeah, exactly. It's the best time of the season. It's something that me and you were kind of waiting for. Last couple episodes, we're kind of saying we're waiting for the playoffs, and finally the playoffs are here.
Exactly. The stakes are simple, right? Win or go home. It's there's no second chances. There's no okay, we'll do better next game, or we got off on the wrong foot. Now it's win or go home, one and done. Like it's the best time of the year, like you said. And this is what we play for, right? This is what you pay the money for. This is what you do go for the regular season to get to the chance to make the playoffs, get into the dance, and obviously try to win a championship. So some teams are already making that step in that direction. So let's hop into it, man. Division 6B. So really interesting right now in 6B. Of course, we had an opening round of the playoffs for Division 6B. We're looking at, obviously, you can see on Quaysie screen right now, right? So like last week we had the Ballers, who are one of the top seeds, right? The number 5 seed, knocking off AAA 44-26. Hope Patrol, the 11 seed, knocking off the Mighty Schmucks 34-12. We had a forfeit, unfortunately. It's happened sometimes during the playoffs. Worst possible time, but it does happen. Let's say Maule ball with 30-0 victory over the Studio J Jokers, and the Nardogs with a huge 32-6 slacking of 2 blocks to wrap up the divisional round of the playoffs last Sunday down in Chateauguay.
Yeah, a couple unfortunate for the forfeit. Again, it kind of sucks when a team kind of jumps into one of the divisional rounds and they don't get to play. It's still point where like, oh, maybe like the other team that didn't make in, let's give them a chance to try to maybe win a playoff game. Like, it's something that maybe should be done. Again, it's like also you shouldn't be awarded for having a bad season. There's a reason why you didn't make playoffs, but it just sucks for teams to be forfeiting a playoff game.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Obviously, we're talking about the Studio J Jokers, who forfeited the game, like I said, against Maule ball, losing by a score of 30-0. And it's a shame because I know you kept a couple of games of the Studio J Jokers. I have as well, and there's a couple of decent players on that team. I was hoping to kind of get a look, during the postseason. Obviously, regular season is one thing, postseason is a different story. But there's a couple of players I was looking to get a look at. I know there's Adam Chiappetta, 324 yards, 8 touchdowns this year. He's a guy I was looking forward to seeing in the postseason, right? And it's a shame. I mean, again, we're not sure what the circumstances were, but guys like him, Lucas Crivello, Dante Crivello, obviously a family connection there. They combined for 8 interceptions and 3 touchdowns this season. So obviously 2 stalwarts on their impact players on their defense. Again, fortunately, because of the forfeit, not able to play. So I mean, hey, it works out for the opponents, right? It works out for Maule ball. Maule ball, they advanced to the second round. You want to get to the second round here, the quarterfinals?
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into the quarterfinals. It's also funny too that last thing kind of said Studio Jokers were the 7th seed, so it kind of gives the 10th seed a first win, and then Pookie Bears, I believe, because Hope Patrol lost, right? Watch, I could just kind of say
The Hope Patrol won.
The Hope Patrol won, right? So it actually gives Skrilla's a pretty good matchup playing the 10 seed instead of playing a seed where, like, again, if Studio Jokers win, it probably would have been a different team. I think Hope Patrol would have played Skrilla's, and Studio Jokers would have played Pookie Bears in the seedings. But anyways, I'm pretty sure Skrilla's are pretty happy about the situation because at the end of the day, they play Maule balls, which is a way lower seed than the Jokers would have been.
100%. 100%. All right, so let's get into the action. So the action for this division kicks off, obviously, the quarterfinals, right? Like I said, they're slated to start this coming Sunday, April 26th, right? So we have the Ballers, the number 5 seed, taking on the number 4 seed, Vicious and Delicious. That's going to be kicking off in Chattagee. Actually, all the games will be in Chattagee. So they actually, like I said, kicks off Sunday. That'll be 9 p.m. We also have Hope Patrol taking on the Pookie Bears. So Hope Patrol, the 11th seed, taking on the top seed in the Pookie Bears. So I have to see if Hope Patrol maybe has another upset up their sleeve. I know Hope Patrol lost to the Pookie Bears 32-27 back in week 8. We have the 10 seed Maule Ball, again, who were victorious because of that forfeit win over the Studio J Jokers. They're taking on the number 2 seed, the Skrillas. They met a couple weeks ago in week 12, right? So not that long ago, the Skrillas blew them out, actually, 36-13. So obviously in that game, Maule Ball didn't bring their best effort, but like I said, if you fall flat in the regular season, you have a chance to kind of redeem yourself in the playoffs. And the final matchup is going to be the number 5 seed, pardon me, the number 6 seed, I should say, the Nard Dogs. They're taking on the number 3 seed, the Stables. These two teams met back on January 18th. That's all the way back in week 3. The Stables with a dominant 36-12 win in Brassard over the Nard Dogs. So obviously the Nard Dogs looking for revenge the second time around.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to be a clean sweep for the favorite teams? So Velicious, the 4th seed, Pookie Bears, the 1st seed, Skrillas, the 3rd seed, and Stables, I think, are the 2nd seed. So top 4, yeah. So sorry, reverse. Stable the third seed, and Skrillas are the 2nd seed. Do you think it's going to be a sweep where the top 4 teams are going to win here, or do you think one of these teams are going to upset? Do you think we're going to have an upset on our hands?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think I'm confident in saying I think the biggest match, the biggest potential for upset could be the Ballers again, the 5 seed taking on the 4 seed, Vicious and Delicious. I do like the Vicious and Delicious squad though. I think they'll get the win, but I think there could be an upset there. Pookie Bears, Hope Patrol. I have Pookie Bears winning that game. Pookie Bears obviously 9-1 in the regular season. The only loss came actually via blowout against the Stables back on Valentine's Day. Pardon me, all the way back in week 7. Skrilla's and Maule Ball, yeah, I think the favorites. I think Skrilla's gonna get a second win. I don't know if it's gonna be 36-13 like it was in week 12, but I do expect them to go forward. And Nardogs, I mean, I like the fight of this team. They used to be a team that was struggling to put together one win, let alone make the playoffs, right? But I think the Stables are just too strong of a team. The Stables actually are my choice to win this division. So I think the Stables get past the Nardogs. So to answer your question, I think it's going to be a clean sweep, pardon me, for all the favorites. What about you?
Okay. Um, I think it's gonna be the same thing. Again, I coach the kids that play on Ballers, and the last time Ballers played Delicious, I played in that game, but there were only 4 players because of the cap issue. So we were 5 actually with me. Our quarterback didn't play good at all. He was kind of. I said he was tired. Basically a kid excuse, but they're looking forward to this game. We actually just had a flag game today, and we destroyed the team we played. So they're going in with some confidence going to this game, and they want to win. So they want to win a championship. So they know what they have to kind of do. They're prepping for this game. So I'm gonna put my money on Ballers. I'm kind of a bias because of that, but I think Ballers are going to take care of business. And then I also think Pookie Bears, Skrillas, and Stables are also going to take care of business.
Okay, so you're saying it's not going to be a clean sweep then? Because if you're going for the
No,
Ballers, so the lower seed, right?
I think 1, 2, 3 are going to win, and then 5 is going to beat 4.
Okay. All right, we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, right? That I think that 4-5 match again with like Vicious and Delicious again being the 4 seed, Ballers being the 5. And in any playoff scenario, right? That 4 versus 5 seed, there's usually not that many games separating both teams, right? And they're pretty evenly matched. And I think that's actually the case this time around. Again, like you said, obviously the Vicious and Delicious getting the win when you played in the regular season, you guys are short players. I imagine they're going to have enough players and have all 6 players ready to rock and roll this Sunday. So I think it'll be a close game, but I still think though Vicious and Delicious, they have more experience on their side. That's a big factor, I think, especially come playoff time. That's why I'm picking Vicious and Delicious to get the win. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be like a 29-26 kind of game, or even like 28-26 kind of game. Something really close, but I think Vicious and Delicious will find a way to get the W.
Okay. Let's go to Division 6A. So Division
But
6A, kind of the same
yeah,
situation, right? We had a divisional round. Just gonna open it here, schedule, so everyone can see. So same situation here. We had a divisional round where 4 teams got to play. Um, we had Sweet Bonanza taking out TGS, so we had a upset over there. We had multiple scoregasms losing to Vengeance, so Vengeance took care of business. Uh, Sophomore Excel students couldn't do it; they ended up losing to Vice City, and then we have PPR Merchants losing to Hungover Heroes, where losing a game 20-29. So out of the 4 teams that played, we had 3 teams that took care of business that were the better seed, and then we had Sweet Bonanza getting one of those upsets over TGS and making it to the quarterfinal round.
yeah. So I mean, again, this is all fluid, right? When you look at all the stuff with the playoffs going on, so I mean, we have the 2 top seeds still alive, right? Obviously, like we talked about, right? With Weepaw Mal, obviously the number 2 seed, and then Blues Cruise at the number 1 seed. Of course, both those teams finishing with identical 9-1 records, right? But like you said, obviously, come the playoffs, those records go aside, and again, like Sweet Bonanza, right now they are, I believe they're
12th seed.
the pardon.
They're the 12th seed.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, I have it right here, man. Yeah, they're the 12th seed. I mean, they almost lost to TGs, right? I mean, it's a close game. Obviously, multiple score games. Like you said, that was a blowout. And Vice City, sophomore shell extensions, right? And a 1 possession game. Hungover Heroes, okay, they went 29-20. But you know what I mean? Like all these games except for one pretty much were close, right? And that's what it is come playoff time, right? Like you throw out the records, you throw out the stats. Sometimes it's just one-on-one, and you got to beat the guy in front of you or something. Obviously, in other cases, part of you beat the lady, beat the woman in front of you as well, right? And I think with these teams that have got the win now, right, they advance to the quarterfinals against the undisputed top 2 teams in this division. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, with the matchups coming this coming Monday, actually St. Laurent, so I'll be there for those games. Sweet Bonanza, Blues Cruise, and then Vengeance and away Palmer. So that's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting.
Actually,
Obviously,
so
so it sets up.
for some reason, there's still missing some games that are not there. You have,
Yeah,
if I'm
yeah,
doing it
yeah.
correctly, there's 2 games that are missing. We're gonna have only flags versus Vengeance, I want to say, and then we have Top and Tops that are be playing Vice City. So I think those are the 2 games that are not there yet because you still have the 3rd seed and the fourth. The top 4 teams get
Hungover
buys.
Heroes.
Yeah.
Hungover Heroes are also not listed as having a game.
Okay. So yeah. So that's the people that are kind of wondering why there's only there's 2 games missing that are still out there, and that's the number 3 and 4 only flags and tops, and again they're playing. I guess it's closest to closest. So top and tops are playing Hunger Heroes, and then I believe Vice City is playing the 3rd seed which is going to be only flags because that's going to be
Yeah,
8
so
teams.
yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, okay, so yeah, like 2 games are missing. Looking at it right here, so it should be, yeah, it should be the first against the lowest seed. So in that case, it's going to be Blues Cruise. So Blues Cruise then should be taking on Vengeance if that's the case, right? Because
No,
Vengeance,
because
I believe, is the lowest. No, sorry,
because
sorry,
there's
no, sweep, no, my bad. Yeah, Sweep Bonanza. Sorry, yeah, Sweep
yeah
Bonanza. You're right. Yeah, 12, and then Weepaw Mel. I had them here taking on Vengeance. So yeah, that makes sense. And like, okay, so yeah, like you said, then only flags against Hungover Heroes and tops against Vice City.
yeah, exactly. So those are gonna be the
Yeah.
4 matches. I'm guessing there's probably maybe some schedule conflicts. That's the reason why the 2 other teams are not there. Again, there's playoffs games pretty much every single day from here until the championship. So sometimes there's conflict issue. If sometimes there's conflict issues, so some games are not going to be posted as fast as others, just in case you don't want a player playing 2 games at the same time because then that's going to be a
Yeah.
problem.
Just looking at it quickly here. So um trying to see now because I was going off with this what I had seen on my screen earlier today. Vice City played toss and toss back in week 5. Vice City won that game 30-27. So again, like post game in the regular season, I imagine they'll probably be close this time around. And if we're talking about, I believe so, Hungry Heroes would then Hungover Heroes sort of would be taking on Only Flags, right? That's what we're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that they met in week 1. That was a blowout. I don't know why I keep on calling them. I don't know why I keep calling them Hungry Heroes, but Hungover Heroes. Sorry, they had a 46-0 victory over Only Flags in that opening contest. So
that's crazy.
let's hope that Only Flags is a little bit better this time around.
Yeah, usually week one, it's a lot of teams are kind of scrambling and they kind of don't know what they're doing for most of the time, especially for Division 6. So I would not be surprised if that was one of the issues. The fact that Only Flags did finish their season 7-3, so they had a slow start and then they kind of put it back into gear, and it seems like they got their stuff together.
All right, let's
Again,
go.
the two teams that are. Do you think, again, I'm going to ask you the same kind of question. Do you think we're going to see the top 4 teams make it out into the quarterfinals? The semifinals, actually.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you in this division. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've had a chance to see some of these teams play, and I will say, honestly, hold on, sorry, let's go back to my screen here. I will say, in all honesty, that Blues Crews, I think they're legit. I've seen them. Out of all the teams in this division, I've seen Blues Crews a lot. I've seen Vice City play a lot. Obviously, sophomore Excel, but they're done. I don't see Blues Crews losing to Sweet Bonanza. I think Sweet Bonanza is better than what their 3-7 regular season record is, and obviously they advanced in the first round of the playoffs. I don't see them pulling off another upset and knocking off Blues Crews. Waypon Mal though, I've seen them play about 2 games this year. Again, 9-1 record, right? That speaks for itself. Their defense, obviously, one of the best in the league, along with Blues Crews and even Only Flags, as well as Tops and Tops. I see those 2 teams advancing. I think it might be a toss-up though. Tops and Tops against Vice City. Like I said, a 3-point win last time for Vice City. I think Vice City has more experience on their side, and I've seen them play more often than Tops and Tops. But again, one team is third, but one team is fourth in the standings. Tops and Tops. Vice City is sixth. Right, both again identical 7-3 records. I think Tops and Tops might get the rematch actually, so they're actually the favorite. So I think they'll get the rematch. And then we talked about Only Flags taking on Hungover Heroes. Only Flags 7-3, Hungover Heroes 6-4. Again, separated by only 1 game. I do think the Only Flags defense is legit. They're the second best ranked defense in this entire division. I think that'll carry them in this round of the playoffs.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Who do you
I'm
have
kind of with
advancing?
you. Yeah, I'm with you on the same thing. I'm pulling for Vengeance. They're a team that kind of struggled. We talked about them a bit. They're a team that kind of struggled. I'm pulling for Vengeance. They actually played against. They played versus a week Pamal, week 14, where they lost 37-20. So hopefully from that game they kind of they learned a couple things, and they're going to make some adjustments, and they're going to try to make it they're going to try to get a W out of this out of this game, or hopefully make it closer than a 17-point loss as the last time they played.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, have to wait and see what happens. I mean, again, like I said, the playoffs are a different animal, right? So you could either show why you were dominant the first time around, or show, maybe you lost that game because of XYZ, and now it's time to get some redemption.
Mm-hmm. Division 5C.
Yeah. 5C obviously a little bit of a schedule hiccup here. So we have I believe last week we talked about the wild card, right? Where Legion of Goon beat Dixie Rec 41-26. LVO Jap Boys beat Bastion 34-20. So then we moved forward this past Monday to the divisional round, and we had LVO Jap Boys another victory, this time over Royal Flush 39-25. We had we had TDs and Big D's for 25-12 victory over Flag Dealers. Again, also on Monday. And wrapping up the action Monday was the Cavaliers of Rohan losing by a score of 25-12 to the Touchables, the Touchabs. They're supposed to be Pudebeck taking on Legion of Goon, as you can see on the
I'm pretty
screen.
sure. I'm pretty sure Pudzubek won.
Okay.
The game was played. I'm pretty sure Pudzubek won.
Okay, we'll find out because on the screen it has nothing, like there's no score or anything. So we'll
Yeah,
get
it's
to the
the
that.
scorekeeper didn't. I don't think they synced it, but I'm pretty sure Pudzubek won. I don't
Let's
know the
go with that.
score, but I'm pretty sure they won. So, but yeah, surprised Royal Flush lost versus LVO Jackpot. So
Yeah. I mean, listen, LVL Jap boys, I mean, listen, they're a good team when they don't get undisciplined penalties. They can beat anybody. All that to say, though, I'm surprised still with the loss of a Royal Flush. Um, they're a solid team. It's
yeah,
a little surprising. A little surprising. Not shocked, but a little surprised.
yeah, it's kind of. Yeah. You know, it's also kind of crazy that Old Pats didn't make it into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I, don't know, too. I was high on
I
them. They
mean,
kind of they were doing so well, and they crumbled at the end. They also did get there was a situation where there was a fight too, so I'm pretty sure one of their players got
yeah,
suspended.
that happened.
That
I
also,
so I so we talked about that on the podcast I think 2 weeks ago, and then the following Monday I score kept their game, last game of the season actually against Dixie Rec and Saint Laurent, and they just the Old Pats have some talented players on their team, and I know some of those guys. I know the quarterback watches the show, so shout out to him. They're a talented team. I can't act like they're not because they are. And I've score kept enough of the games over the last year and a bit. Talking about Fabrice Tremblay, they have some good guys on the team. It's just they couldn't stop Dixie Rec. Like Old Pass defense couldn't get off the field when they needed to. And either it was a missed throw or a drop. Just timing seemed to be off. They weren't firing on all cylinders in the last game of the year, which they needed to get into the dance. And again, they put up 2 touchdowns. They put up 12 points in that game. I know they're more talented than what the record is. Just they just couldn't put it all together this season. I'm not sure why, but they have the answer to that. Hopefully, they come back in the spring season and have some more answers. Because they were down 25-6 at the half, and I mean, DC Rec didn't really score in the second half, but in the old Pats only put up one touchdown themselves, so there's nothing to write home about, right? So I mean, again, kind of a lost season for the old Pats.
yeah, unfortunate for them. But I mean, they did get Dixie Rec into the playoffs, even though they lost the first. Well, even though they lost in the wild round versus Dixie versus Legion of Goon. At least they got to play one more extra game before their season ended. So division round is pretty much done. Those 4 games happen. So it would be quarterfinals, which would be next. So you have the 4 top teams: Studs, Panthers, Vice City, Takeoff Squad. So those would be the 4 teams that get matched up versus the next 4 teams. Again, it's not officially there, so it's kind of some you kind of have to break it down to a certain point. We had LVO Jack Boys. I think LVO Jack Boys was the highest seed going into this, so they play Studs. So we're gonna get an LVO Jack Boys versus Studs. That would be the first match. Then we have I want to say late touchables will be the next matchup. Oh, no, sorry, no, that's a lie. TDs and Big D's are gonna play the Panthers. Then you're gonna have who actually, sorry, I'm trying to look back and forth. Pittsburgh finished what? Pittsburgh is the 5th seed, so they'll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the Jack Boys, TDs, and where did the Touchables finish? Touchables finished 7. Okay, so we're gonna have LVO Jack Boys as a 13th seed playing the 1 seed. Then we're gonna have TDs and Big D's playing the 2nd seed. Then we're gonna have Touchables playing the 3rd seed, and then we're gonna have a matchup from the 4th seed versus the 5th seed, which is gonna be interesting to see. Pedjebek versus Takeoff Squad. So kind of like we're kind of talking about how the 4th seed and the 5th seed usually like they're really close to each other. Again, Takeoff Squad had a really good year, 315.4 and 136 points again. So they're a sneaky 4th seed where they easily could have been a number 1 seed this year.
100%. Yep, it's true. It's
And
true.
they haven't played each other this year.
And that's what I was just gonna say. Sometimes that's okay though. It's okay. Eh, not having the first seed, obviously, okay, like seen in the professionals, right? There's a lot of pressure. Maybe not so much, maybe in FPF, but there still is pressure with that number one seed, right? So maybe you want to sneak under the radar. Maybe some teams will see it. Well, they're not first, they're fourth or fifth or whatever the case may be. They're not in that top spot. Teams might not take you seriously enough, or you have a little trick or two up your sleeve. So finishing fourth, there's nothing to me. There's no shame in that, right? So I mean, again,
No,
see what
100%.
happens next week. This week,
It's
I
just
should say.
more. Sometimes it's the playoff matchups too. Like again,
Yeah,
studs.
yeah.
I think to be honest with you, I think studs is the best team up and down. There's a reason why they're 10-0. I personally think this team's going to win the championship, and the fact that they get to play LVL Jack Boys in the quarterfinals, I think that's probably when their favorable matchups against all the teams. I think it would be either LVL Jack Boys or TDs and Big T's, or TDs and Big D's, just because they're a young team, TDs and Big D's, and a bit less not comfortable, a bit less experience. And we kind of talk about it during playoff situation. You kind of want to have experience. A lot of times, it's the reason why you win most of your matchups, and to a point where talent only goes so far. So I think for studs, I think they're pretty happy the fact that they get to play LVO Jack Boys in that first quarterfinal matchup, and they did not play them in the season. So it's gonna be a first. Oh, they did. They played them in the season. They beat them 39-26. So again, a little bit of confidence playing a team that you already beat in the regular season. Even though playoffs is completely different, but like you're feeling comfortable going into the game.
Yeah. Do you have all favorites advancing next round?
Have again bias. TDs and Big D's is a bunch of kids I also coach. So the Panthers, I'm going to give Vice City beating Lake Touchables, and I'm going to take Pedzubek beating Takeoff Squad. So I have two favorites and two non-favorites. No, I have three non-favorites. No, two favorites and two non-favorites. You?
Okay. Takeoff Squad. I'm not gonna lie. I had the same thing. So I was looking at it. I was like, who do I want to pick? I don't want to pick. I don't want to be a homer. I don't want to pick favorites the entire time. And I was looking at the defenses, right? Because I'm big on defense. And I look, the Panthers are the top four teams. You can even make the case really the top five teams, no, top six teams in this division. Panthers have the worst defense. Not by much when you compare them to Royal Flush and teams like that, and like the Touchables, so on and so forth, right? But they've let over more than 200 points, right? That's not the case for Vice City. That's definitely not the case for Takeoff Squad. That's not the case for the Studs, right? Some of those teams have come close, but not that close in certain cases, right? In other cases, pardon me, I should say. And I like TDs and Big Ds. I've seen them play a lot. I mean, they do give up a lot, almost 250 points a game, but they're giving up, pardon me, almost 250 points this season. Sorry, not per game. That could be something different. That might be a record. That would be an FPF record for sure. That might be a football record period if you give up 250 points. But with that being said, the Panthers' offense is solid. It's solid. Is it a great offense? No. Their defense is good. I just don't think it's great. And I think they're susceptible part of me, sometimes to the deep ball. So I'm gonna pick TDs and Big D's with the upset win this round.
Okay. Let's go Division 5B.
Yeah, so looking at 5B, right? Obviously, we talked about it. Well, no, last time we filmed last Wednesday, right? I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So we didn't talk about
we
it
didn't
then.
talk about it. Yeah, we didn't talk about any of these teams.
Yeah. So bit of a shock. Not a shocker in terms of like them losing, but I will say PSTM
It scored
get the
0.
goose egg. And yeah, 21-0 loss to Le Mangeurs de Benj. That was a shocker to me. I'm not surprised that they lost, but again, not scoring any points. And again, this PSTM squad, right? Like all the guys were there. All the guys were there. Pardon me. Jordan Lee, we've talked about plenty of times on the podcast. Jesse Kolarczyk, the quarterback, was there. Ryan McNally, right, a Division One player, one of the best guys in the league. On top of it, he was there. Yeah, all their guys were there. Massimo Moniz, James Masiocha. Yeah, to get a goose egg, to get shut out. I don't know what happened. Kolarczyk, 7 of 16, 36 yards, two INTs. That's not like him. Jordan Lee had a couple of throws. He went 3 for 3. He got some Mapa duty, 38 yards. That's fine. But Xavier DeLille, 9 of 19, 100 yards, 3 TDs, a quarterback for Le Mans de Benj. And again, that defense was just stifling. They got picks from Raphael, probably not Raphael Clement, for Nathan Provost and Xavier DeLille as well. Guillaume Rappel there, he had a sack. Again, when you shut out a team in flag football, all the points came in the first half. It was 21-0 in the first half, and nobody scored anything after that. But the fact that you shut out a team in flag football, you're doing something right. So tip of the hat to those guys for Les Mans de Benj, and just a horrible loss. I'm going to say like a horrible backbreaking loss there for PSTM. Again, their season ending in a whimper, not getting any points on the board.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for them.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, you can't go out like that. Looking at the other game, it was the opposite, right? A barn burner down to the last second. The deep zone penetrators, a 34-33 victory over the Chamonix Chodes. And listen, both quarterbacks and Samuel Langley for deep zone penetrators and Matthew Bottazzi for Chamonix Chodes. Both guys combined for 10 touchdown passes in that game. And so those guys showed up, right? And you go to how this game ends, right? It comes down essentially to a touchdown being scored by the deep zone penetrators, a 1 yard touchdown with about, I think, 4 plays left. They missed the extra point. Chamonix chose to get the ball back, and the game goes to overtime, pardon me. So 1 point conversion for the Chamonix chose was unsuccessful. They missed the one. So because, of course, with the FPF rules, right, if the team goes for one and they get it, you have to go for two in the win, right? So Chamonix chose to let them go for one. They missed it. Deep zone penetrated, got that 1 point convo, and they won the game.
Yeah, but I think it's because overtime is it might have been a situation where the scorekeeper just didn't put it in properly, but overtime it's 3 tries.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's usually my bad. Multiple possessions, right? Yeah.
So it's either the scorekeeper didn't put it right, or the refs decided that it was going to be one. I'm not exactly sure. I see the same thing you see here. Chamonix Shields, extra point for one, successful and deep penetrators. They go for one and they get it. So it's either someone messed up, or the scorekeeper just didn't put the next two converts. That's kind of interesting.
I'm not sure how that would happen. No, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to not put it, but either way, these zone penetrators got the W in that game. It's funny. So you look at the Battaglia brothers, right? Obviously, Jonathan, the receiver, Matthew, the quarterback. Everyone knows the ball's going between those two. The ball's going from the brother to brother, right? It is what it is. You can't stop them. The man, Jonathan Battaglia, had 98 yards, 2 touchdown passes. He was solid. But it's always like, I always look at this team, and there's just other talented players on this team, right? We've seen over the last couple of seasons. But it's just like in the playoff games, they kind of get one-dimensional of their offense. And you kind of wait for someone else to step up and make a play. Now, some of that's Matthew Battaglia just throwing the ball mainly to his brother. But you look at the targets, right? His brother Jonathan had 8 targets. The next closest receiver had 3, right? So I mean that's on the brother to throw the ball around to other guys. But I'm always waiting for someone to step up and make a play. And then speaking of breakout performances, there Talik Baptiste, who got the touchdown to send this game to overtime. He had 3 touchdowns and 71 yards on 7 catches in that game. So obviously he stepped up for his team again. He's the reason why they went to overtime and his team got the W.
Yeah, exactly. I also think to a point where Chamonix Shields still scored 33 points, so I don't think they got stopped that often. And it's to a point where, you want to spread the ball around, but if something's not broken, then why fix it, right? His brother went 8 for 8. Maybe he didn't. Maybe, again, some targets are not accounted for, but it seems like he was not unstoppable. So just keep feeding him the ball, Maybe to a point, maybe he didn't go to his brother for that last point convert, and it's the reason why they end up losing that game, So I feel like if your guys open, just keep giving the ball. We kind of see in the NFL most of the sometimes too, where sometimes you watch some games and a receiver has like 10 catches, and you're just like, you're wondering in the defense, like, are they going to cover this guy? And it's still a point where if a guy is hot, he's hot. And sometimes, again, I feel like Jonathan was kind of just hot this whole year. I feel like, yeah, he was probably getting force fed from his brother from these passes, but if it's not broken, again, I'm gonna say if it's not broken, then why fix it?
That's true. That's true. This makes sense.
So that yeah, so
yeah, so we
that
fast. So
was
that
the wild
yeah,
round, wild round,
that
so
was
divisional
Thursday.
round.
So
Yeah, it was
yeah,
Thursday. Yeah, so
division round. So
divisional.
we had an interesting battle. Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say we had an interesting battle. 8 and 9 seeds going at it. Catch a flex. The 8 seed taking on the 9 seed, the Angry Birds. Catch a flex with a 39-38 win. Down at Broussard on Saturday. So obviously getting a huge 1 point victory since they extend their season. Looking at this game, so this game came down to a touchdown. Uh, Dom Maule getting a touchdown there from Berra. Berazoni, obviously, 12-yard touchdown and then kind of a defensive stand at the end of the game for for the defense there for catching for that. Pardon me for the Angry Birds. But yeah, so just looking at it here, so this it came off of my screen there for a second. My apologies. Yeah, so catch and flex, I should say, yeah, with the 39-38 win over the Angry Birds in that contest. And again, like these close games, and this is what you kind of expect, right? For during the postseason, part of me, these close games are coming down to the wire, right? So, like I said, Angry Birds getting that touchdown, right, to get one step closer, but they went for the 2 point convert and weren't able to get it, right? So they didn't want the overtime; they wanted the 2 point convo for the win, which again in the playoffs you should be doing that. And they catch a flex, but Angry Birds got the ball back, and it's pretty much a nothing basically came out of it. Part of it. Catch a flex. I'm sorry, I'm tired. Catch a flex got the ball back, and it's essentially ran out the clock. They took up a couple of sacks, and that was the end of the game. So making sure not to get the ball back to the Angry Birds, because you'd be surprised. I was talking about this with Leo Gervais, obviously the head ref from FPF last week, and he's like, teams sometimes are just dumb. They get the ball back. All you got to do is take sacks on purpose or take a knee. Some teams want to pad their stats and they'll start throwing the ball, and before you know it, that ball gets picked off, and then you're going home losers at the end of the night when that team scores a game-winning touchdown on you. So smart move there by Catch and Flex. Just take a couple of on-purpose sacks and the game. Who cares about the stats?
Yeah, I'm always confused on such certain situations. I'm just like, you guys do realize you guys didn't even have to run the play. Actually, I have when we get to the division, I have also a team to kind of talk about, and it literally that situation almost happened. But when we get to the division, I think it's four. I think it's 4A. It's the team that I got the score keep, where they kind of got into a situation like that. So moving forward, so we had Catch a Flex Angry Birds, where Catch a Flex ended up getting the W 39-38. From what you said, we actually got to watch. Sorry, looking at the schedule here. Yep. We also had McGill's swim team beating PI Central, so I got to score keep that game. McGill's swim team. To be honest with you, the first play was a pick six from Keon. So Keon Cyrus ended up throwing a pick six first play off the bat to Denzel Thompson. And then in my head, I was like, oh, this is going to be a long game for Keon, but they ended up bouncing back. They actually got two pick sixes for themselves. Keon actually got one, and Arnold Bernard also got one as well. And they also finished the game with, I think it was 7 INTs. So they made from throwing one pick six the start of the game to getting 7 of them to yourself, 2 of them being pick sixes. Their defense really stepped up. They got Keon's back, and they got a win because he didn't really have to do much, to be honest with you. He went 5 for 11, 38 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw 3 INTs. His defense was pretty much swarming everywhere. The rusher did a pretty good job. Jackson, Dinot, he did a good job. He had 3 sacks. He was always in the quarterback's face, making sure that he didn't really have a lot of opportunities. So they did a good job, and they got out the quarterfinals, the divisional. This was divisional, right? Yeah, they got a divisional round. with not really needing their quarterback to actually have any stats to get a win there.
What I want to know is, how do you throw 7 INTs?
No,
Like,
you trust me.
it's just
I was
unacceptable.
actually confused, but he was kind of just like lobbing in there, and they weren't going to his receiver.
Yeah, so the quarterback I'm talking about is Jeffrey Medeiros. Like, I've seen him play before. I've seen a lot of those lobs. Yeah, man. Listen, he had a touchdown wise in the regular season, right? He had 37 touchdowns. He had 19 INTs. Like, that's less than 60% of your passes completed. Uh, and then you get two TD passes in the playoffs, and then 7 INTs. Like, you either at that point you either got to pull yourself, or your teammates got to be like, okay, dude, you gotta hit the bench, or do something else. Because like, yeah, 7 INTs, man. You usually don't win playoff games when you throw more than three. Games period, when you throw more than three. Obviously, we've seen that happen a couple of times where quarterbacks throw three or four, sometimes five, and they magically somehow manage to win the game. But not in the play. I mean, Keon right there threw three, right? And one of them was returned for a touchdown, like you said. But once you get past interception number four, like say
Well,
a guy like Jeff Rosenblatt, he'll pull himself. Like, you,
yeah,
you gotta put the team first, man. And they only lost by 10, which tells you that Miguel's swim team, they got a lot of work to do. You're only winning by 10 points when the opposition quarterback throws 7 INTs, but they got the win. So I mean, they can say what they want. But yeah, I think after pick number four, you got to take yourself or the team has to tell you, listen, bro, today's
yeah,
not
no,
your day.
It was actually funny. They actually had one of their players on PI Central actually got hurt, so he kind of went to the sideline, and then the quarterback wasn't throwing the ball left, like wide open hooks, straight goes, like left side. He was blind to it, and it was to a point one of the teammates got off the field, like he was kind of like he kept going, like throwing the ball, balls went to him, like he had 0 targets. And this guy got off the field, took off his shit, got dressed, and just kind of was chilling, just waiting. And the other thing is, it kind of sucks because at the end of the day, PI Central, they were down by, I want to say they were down by 2 points at one situation, and they're driving, and everything was kind of going well. And I think if that guy kind of stayed in the game, because by far he was probably maybe the number one, number two receiver. If he stayed in the game and he kind of maybe did a slant in, he got the ball in his hands, he probably could have scored, to be honest with you. So kind of it's unfortunate. Like I understand, like you're not getting the ball, but it takes one play to impact the game, especially when the game was when it was close, and it was to a point where Keon kind of just they scored, and they ended up winning by 10, and then after that it was kind of out of reach. But PI Central did have a chance. They did have a chance to kind of win, not win the game, but take the lead of the game. So
Hey, that's leaving in the middle of the game is not cool. I think throughout.
he didn't leave. He just got dressed. He just he was on the sideline. Like it was fun. The thing that was funny is because he got off the field. He like left outside to get changed. He came back and like they were driving down the field. So like it was at this point I think they were down by 2. So like he should have been on that drive to like maybe do an impact. To be honest, I don't think the quarterback was going to throw the ball to him. But then he ended up getting picked off. So then like I think he felt kind of good. He's like, yeah, okay, it was going to be a pick anyways. But it was kind of funny. Like he left, came back, and he's kind of like cheering for his team, or he was still like involved, or he could have just stayed on the field and and just kind of complained that the ball wasn't getting involved.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, unless you get hurt, there's no reason to get into like your street clothes and just not play anymore. But
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the thing. That's
to each your own, I guess. Okay. Well, I hope, but don't hope that was the case. Hopefully, he wasn't feeling right, decided to come off, because I've seen it before where guys have quit in the middle of the game because they're frustrated with the quarterback or frustrated with
no,
defensive
he was.
calls.
Yeah, I know he was
Oh,
frustrated. He was frustrated. He was definitely frustrated. He was like,
okay,
and
all right.
I also don't think he realized like that he thought the game was done. He didn't think they're gonna because they end up picking Keon off too in the red zone. So like, anyways, what he did just backfired completely because he could. If at the end of the day, if the ball was thrown to him, I think he would have made a play and it could have made a difference in the game. But anyways,
I mean, I think when the quarterback, sorry.
No, a good team.
I was gonna say, I think when your quarterback throws like pick number 5, you pretty much think the game is done, even
Yeah,
though technically
yeah,
it's not.
very true. But again, it is what it is. Miguel swim team, congratulations, you guys get out of here. 7 ITs, good job for your defense, and you guys live to see another day. Two other games we got to see is deep zone penetrators playing Emperor Retreats. Deep zone takes care of that game 31-12. So kind of a big upset there. And
Yeah,
Limoges Bang,
two
again,
upsets. Yeah,
also, yeah, again, Limoges Bang, again, they just played. They played their wild card game on Thursday, April 16. They got out of that game winning 21-0. And then they played a good Swiffer Webjet team, and they took care of business winning 32-25. So right now they're moving, it seems, and it looks like they're going to try to be a Cinderella team coming in as that 11 seed, trying to make a deep playoff push right now.
yeah. So it's funny. So as an actually, so obviously with Emperor's Retrete, number 5 seed being knocked out, and then the 6 seed, so for Wet Jets, who do you think? Which team do you think is more disappointing? Or you know what? Actually, which team are you more shocked to see knocked off right now between Emperor's Retrete and the Surfer Wet Jets?
Emperor's retreats, because I actually got to see these guys play. I think their defense was pretty good. Offense was able to score points. So for the fact them to kind of lose in the second round, you were trying to say, it's kind of surprising. I thought they were going to get a deeper run, and it's also to the fact where they lost by 19 points versus a deep zone
Yeah.
penetrations that comes in as a 12 seed, finish receiving 5-5. So you would expect the game to be a bit closer, and it's kind of to score only 12 points when you average 29 points a game. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. I was gonna go with that one too. But I am though still shocked, pardon me, to see the Swift Wet Jets. Right? I mean, this is a team we talked about a couple of times on the podcast this year. Like they're not bums. They're not bums at all. But I mean, I look at it and like, okay, like maybe they could do something here. And again, they were the 6th seed overall, right? And just to go down. But I mean, listen, they only lost by 7 points. They lost by a touchdown. So it's not as if they got blown out like Emperor Retro did, but I still thought Surfer Wet Jets they'd be a good enough team to at least get past this round, right? I figured they were clearly the better team between them and the Le Mans the bench, but well, clearly I was wrong, and congrats again to another big win, Le Mans the bench.
Yeah, again, well, I guess that's what players are for, right? It comes to a point where sometimes the regular season doesn't matter as much. All you want to do is make sure you guys get in, and then it's a whole different game. So you
Yeah,
kind
like I
of get
said, yeah, 100%.
kind of
100%.
get to see that. Again, the next matchups are not kind of up, so we kind of have to wing it from here. We have the top 4 teams, so they get buys. So you have Bendel Break, We Ain't Done With the 90s, Shadigi Community College, and Demons. Those are the 4 top teams. So they play the teams that kind of just got out of the play, got out that last round. So we're gonna have Les Mange de no deep zone penetrators 1, right? So those are the two upset teams. So we're gonna have deep zone penetrators play bend don't break. Then we're gonna have Les Mange Bang. They're gonna play we ain't done with the 90s. Then you're gonna have McGill swim team play versus. Oh no, wait, I forgot one. Shaman chose out PCSM, Deep Zone. Who am I missing? Because you have Deep Zone, you're gonna have the 1 seed versus 12, 2 seed versus 11. Angry Birds lost, right? Yeah. Sorry, it's so confusing, all these teams. So
Yeah,
we have
so that catches flex.
Catch a Flex. That's what I'm missing. Catch a Flex is gonna play Chattagee Community College, and then McGill swim team is going to play Demons. So that's going to be an interesting matchup to see.
Yeah. Again,
I
with
think we have.
Demon squad,
I
right?
think
Demon's missing a quarterback, missing a rusher, so it's gonna be interesting to see how what kind of squad they could put together for their
Yeah,
playoff
that's,
debut.
that's great for McGill's swim team, though. That's probably the best matchup they could ask for. Unfortunately, it does
Exactly.
suck because of injuries, but I think if
Yeah.
they played any of those other three teams, I want to say they would have struggled a bit. Again, Keon's not usually the quarterback for this team either. It's Wagner Vaslet. He's usually the
I mean,
quarterback. I
Von
think
yeah.
yeah, I believe he couldn't come to that game, so Keon had to fill in that game. So again, but at the end of the day, I think for them that's probably one of their best matchups just because of the injuries that the Demons do have. So other than the three other teams, I think Bendel Break, we ain't done in the 90s, Chattagee Community College, I think they all take care of business. Then I think McGill's swim team is going to have that upset versus the number 4 seed. And then we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and then number 7 going into the semifinals.
Let's move on to 5A.
Yep.
The last time that we were here, we talked about we didn't talk about it. The game happened after we had already signed off. So not Fast and Furious, forfeit win 30-0 over no punt intended. So I mean, again, it's always disappointing to see that in the postseason. We had a close game though. Deep balls against Toon Squad. Deep balls getting the 27-24 victory in that contest. And that game happened last Wednesday, so 7 days ago. Toon Squad tried to make it a little closer. There, they got a touchdown for Charles Presser, 7-yard TD to bring them within 3. But then they needed their defense to get a stop, and Toon Squad just pretty much essentially ran out the clock, and that was it. So again, Toon Squad getting the upper deep balls, just to say my apologies, getting in 27-24 win over Toon Squad. Jump to the sorry.
No, so the two favorite teams did win. One was a forfeit, and Deep Balls was the better seed. Yeah, so jump into the divisional round.
Yeah, so we see Voodoo, they got spanked 39-19 by Ice Up. So that was this past Saturday, where all the divisional round games are all in Broussard. So I'm sure you had a chance to check some of those out. Richter, 19-6. So I'll tell you what, 19-6 victory over Not Fast, Just Furious. So Not
Yeah,
Fast, Just Furious again getting that forfeit win. They get bounced out in the second round.
yeah, I got to
perfect
score.
timing.
I got the scorekeeping off fast with Just Furious. There were only 5 guys playing, so that didn't help them at all.
Okay,
They
so
played with 5
shorthanded
guys.
and okay. But yeah, obviously being down a guy the entire game is not going to help you. But again, credit to the defense; they made it close, right? They only gave up 19 points. That's not bad when you're 5 guys and not 6, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah, perfect timing, 27-12 victory over Super Bach, and then to close things out, we had a Texas Wales with a 30-0 victory over Deep Balls, and that game was also a forfeit. So Deep Balls getting bounced in the divisional round after a tight win in the wild card round over Toon Squad. 2
Yeah,
forfeits against us in the playoffs, but
yeah.
it is.
Again, it's so unfortunate. Like again, I guess for Texan Wales, it is what it is. They did come in as a 5th seed, so at the end of the day, I think they probably would have won that game anyways. But
Yeah.
it's just like why? Like I guess sometimes there are situations where guys just can't. Like it doesn't work out for them scheduling, whatever. It sucks to see forfeits in playoff games. Like you kind of want to see it play out. You want the better team there, right? You want the better team going into the next round, and forfeits does not really help the situation.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next, right? 'Cause again, like I said, Ice Up, Richter, perfect timing, Texas Wales advancing to the quarterfinal round of the playoffs.
Yeah, you literally have the
The
top 8
potential.
teams going.
Yeah, I was gonna say that exactly.
Yeah, so there's no upsets, no 10 seed, no 11 seed. It's literally 1 to 8. Speed Academy, Veer Links, Alumni, CJ Alumni, Thunderbirds, Texas Well, Richard, Perfect Timing, Ice Up. So it's 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. And to be honest with you, again, I think it's good. I think this is going to be a clean sweep too. I think
Really?
Speed Academy, I think Speed Academy, Veer Links, CJ Alumni, Thunderbird, Thunder Buddies. I think they're all going to win. From all these teams. Ice Up, I do like Ice Up. they're a good team. They're fast. They've been together for a while. I just personally think they don't have enough firepower for Speed Academy Junior. I think their Speed Academy Junior is a very good team, and they're well balanced everywhere. Their defense is fast. I think they're gonna pick uh, they're gonna pick Max Morena off a lot. I also think if they could avoid his rushing yards, he likes to run a lot. The rusher is good enough. If they could shut down his rushing yards, I think that's going to be one of the recipes to get that win.
That's interesting. Okay. I'm gonna go with Richter to get the W, 6 seed, 7-3 record to knock off CS JV alumni. College St.
Oh,
Jean
okay.
Vinny alumni again. Four teams, right? All those. It's interesting. You don't see this too often, right? Again, top four teams get the bye. All top four teams finish the regular season 9-1. Talking about like who you were mentioning, right? Speed Academy Junior, number one. Via Links, number two. See, College St. Jean Vinny alumni, number three, and then number four, the Thunder Buddies, right? All four of those teams finished 9-1. I think it's telling when like the number fifth seed in this division who are the Texas Whales finished 8-2, right? 8-2 is a pretty damn good record, no matter what division you're in, right? But yeah, again, going back to what I said, I like Richter, obviously led by Alan Malinoff. There's a lot of experience, a lot of speed on his team. I really think they could pull off the upset and knock off CSJV alumni, and I'm gonna put it under defense. Malinoff is a ball hawk, and there's some other ball hawks on the squad. Nick DeMalo, right? Division 1
He's a
player playing on
quarterback.
this team. Yeah, well, that's it, right? Yeah, exactly, right. So I really think that those guys, Richard, can knock off college St. Jean Vanny alumni.
Okay. Yeah, I think the opposite, but I think I like Malinoff as a quarterback. I do like him. Again,
Yeah,
I got to play versus both of these teams. Even though they both of these teams literally smoked us, I just figured I felt Steve Vanny was more comfortable running their offense compared to Malinoff, where I feel like he's again, if you kind of get into his head a bit, you'll feel more comfortable. And I think the rushing aspect is going to be something that's going to be big for CJ Vanny. I think the rush is going to make it a bit difficult for Nicholas Maule to kind of make the right reads he wants to do because he does like to roll out sometimes, and sometimes he does overthrow his receivers. So he didn't. He had a
yeah,
pretty good
that
year.
is true too. That is true. That is true.
He had a pretty good year, 1,465 yards passing, 39 touchdowns, 7 INTs. He only got sacked 3 times with a 63% completion rate, which is great. But when you don't feel as comfortable to kind of run, that's where things start to get struggle. That's where things trying to get a bit struggling. And when I played Seja Veni, I wasn't able to use my legs as much because they had a pretty good rusher coming at me. So I feel like I feel like Nick is a way better quarterback than I was, especially for this year. But I know when you don't get to use your legs as much, it's something that does frustrate you, and you could throw bad reads or really bad interceptions where it's a fact where it only takes one or two where you kind of get yourself off the game, and the game makes it uncatchable to actually to come. Basically, after throwing one or two interceptions, it's hard to win a playoff game in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, so I understand what you're saying, right? St. John Venue, Vincent Tremblay, I believe, is the rusher on that team. He had 5 sacks in only 6 games. A couple of actually other guys have had sacks. It's about one, two, three, four, five, six. Well, 8 players this season have gotten sacks for them. Two of those, 6 of those players are only, sorry, pardon me, 5 of those players will only be eligible for the playoffs. So it looks like Vincent Tremblay is their leading rusher. I've seen their quarterback. So yeah, Nick DeMalo again. He not Malinoff. Nick DeMalo is the quarterback for Richter. But I've seen Alex Benoit, the QB for Sejan Vanny. I didn't have a chance to see him that much this year. I've seen him in the past. I saw him last year in the fall season, I believe it was. I came away impressed. Like a good regular season this year, right? 34 touchdowns, only 6 INTs. He's been legit. He's been around the league for a couple of seasons as well, right? So I I think like I think that Richter is top heavy, whereas Saint Jean Vanny, like you said, they were comfortable with what they're rolling with. I think they're comfortable because they're a deeper team and their parts are more interchangeable. Whereas Richter is reliant on guys like Maule and often obviously Nick Maule. I just think that I'm picking them again because of their defense. Speaking of Richter, right? I'm picking them because of their defense. And I think some of the big game experience guys like DeMalo and Malinoff have had in higher divisions compared to some of the guys on call this in Jean Vianney. I think that'd be a bit of a difference maker right there as well. I could be wrong, but that's what I think.
Yeah, no, I understand. That's reasonable. I also think, to be honest with you, I kind of take it back. I That's a hard one too. Texas Wales versus Thunder Buddies is actually going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really good game too. That's going to be like,
yeah.
I think that's going to be a really good game because I'm going to say Thunder Buddies is going to take. They should win, but Texas Wales have been playing extremely well. I believe they have the quarterback of the year. I believe Tyler Cousins did win the quarterback of the
Tyler
year.
Cousins, yeah.
Yeah, I believe he did win the quarterback of the year, and they also have Daniel Acerodro as well too. He had a great season, 638 yards receiving. He also had 10 INTs, so he was a lead force on that team. Again, but Thunder Buddies is a veteran team. They kind of eat and scratch at you. They kind of know what they're doing, led by Terry Bopoulos. He kind of understands the system, especially for first downs, how it kind of works. So he has that going for him. And then you also have William Power kind of leading that defense for them too. So I think that's going to be a really good matchup.
Yeah, I think so too. Again, I'm always pulling for Terry. He's a good dude. Terry Babalis. Love to see what happens. But and again, like Texas Wales as well. Their team has experience, right? I remember when they first broke into the league, they were playing in the lowest division and they struggled. Their quarterback Tyler Cousins was in love with the deep ball all game long. And I tried to give him some advice once. He didn't really listen to me, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, he has his team right now deep into the playoffs. So obviously he listening to himself, I guess, paid off. Um, I I I would pick Thunder Buddies. I am picking actually Thunder Buddies in that game. I think Thunder Buddies have a better squad. Obviously, willpower, right? The Texas Wales have a good solid squad, like, a lot of depth, right? A lot of chemistry. They've been together for a while, but they don't have a willpower. I think that's what the difference will be. If Terry Babalis could protect the ball
Yeah,
and not throw bad interceptions, I think Thunder Buddies will win the game. But I'll have to wait
I
and
think it's
see.
a big game. I think that's going to be I think that's my game of the week. Like if you're gonna ask me which game are you looking forward to, that's my game of the week. Number 4, the 5th seed going at it.
Okay, let's go to 4B.
Yep.
As for B, we had the divisional round last Saturday, April 18th. So Grab a Leaf getting a victory over Flight School, 32-19. And Grab a Leaf, again, we talked about just kind of sneaking into the playoffs there, edging out the Brewers and a couple of the teams, right? Just again getting into that final playoff spot, more or less. Showdown between the Bandits and Case of 12. Castadouz ended with the Bandits getting a 39-33 victory. In that game, another close one, balls deep, knocking off the Dirty Dogs 25-21. And then a blowout, the Peckers dropping 42 on 1 and goal, who were only able to score 20 points in that contest. So we have two really close games, one kind of blowout and one for sure blowout this past Saturday in the divisional round for Division 4B.
Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be. You know what's interesting? So Gabaleaf came in as the 12th seed, right? So they're gonna play no flags, no give in. There actually was a situation with Gabaleaf. There was kind of a fight between Gabaleaf and Fight School. Where some players got thrown out, some players I believe are getting suspended. So I don't know how many guys they're going to be for that quarterfinal round. I don't think they're going to be a lot, to be honest with you. It might also be a forfeit regarding the situation that did happen in that game. So no flags given. I mean, pretty. In this case, this is where it kind of pays off to be a number 1 seed, where small situations like that happen. I also personally think no flags given was going to beat Grab a Leaf either way if they had a full squad, non-full squad. I think they kind of struggled the whole year. They barely got in the playoffs. They kind of snuck in as number 12 seed. So I think no flags given. They should have won that game no matter what, but now it's going to be easy. It's going to be even easier for them to win their next game up against these two. And then Peacemakers, Uncle Rico Riders, Studs. Those are the three other teams that end up playing the bottom of the bunch. So I believe Peacemakers are going to be paying Peckers.
Yeah,
Uncle
exactly.
Rico,
Two versus 10.
Uncle Rico Riders are playing Balls Deep. I want to say, did they end up winning Balls Deep?
Oh, yeah. Be balls deep. Yep.
And
In
then
the
the
race, seed
last
balls deep.
one is Studs versus
And it's
Bandits. Yeah, so those are going to be interesting game. Paul Peacemaker is going to be an interesting game as well versus Peckers. I think right now Peckers coming off that big win. That's crazy. I didn't realize that their name is Peckers. Isn't that Corey Pecker? Do you see my screen?
yeah, yeah.
So is that Corey Pecker?
That looks like him. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a million years, but that looks like him. God, that's a blast from the past. Wow.
Pretty
Okay.
sure. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. What if they
I
just
think
know?
yeah, I remember him. I remember playing against him like early in my FPF career. Corey Pecker.
Yeah, I'm pretty
That's
sure.
the
I'm
same
pretty
guy.
sure that. Yeah, that is because Corey Pecker was a hockey player, I believe. So I'm pretty sure that's like an old hockey picture of him. I'm pretty sure he was a hockey player growing up. So it's kind of funny that they have that picture of
So right
that
now,
13 picture. Yeah, it is.
good for him.
It is. I just pulled up. Maybe it's one of their. I don't know how they're associated with them. But it's kind of funny that that's the picture that they have. But back to what I was saying. I think the Packers and Peacemakers, that should be a very good game. You kind of have the old school versus like the new school, where Packers they do have some young talent. A lot of their guys are kind of more older, and then the Packers are more of a younger talented team. So we're kind of going to have like the old school again versus the new school. So I think that's going to be a good matchup. Hopefully, Peacemakers again, veteran guys. They kind of understand how to run defenses, and they do have some young studs as well on this team. So hopefully, they're able to kind of make sure that the Packers can't use their athletic abilities to kind of take advantage of that. And then the Packers kind of just run a nice, calm offense, take what the defense gives them because Packers' defense
Yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't the greatest this year, and you kind of can see that they probably play. I think I've seen them play once this year, but a lot of times where you see a lot of younger teams, their defenses are not the best, and that's why they allow so much points. And you kind of can see they allowed 314 points this year, allowing 30 points per team. So that just kind of goes show. But I think that's going to be a really good matchup.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I like this division because you have that good mix of like a team like the Uncle Rico Riders, right? It's a veteran team. The Bandits are a veteran team, right? Packers are kind of a team with some veterans they put together. Grab Belief, right? One of the newer teams, right? And if you have some of the guys have some FPF experience, but not a ton, right? And so I think it's fascinating, like the range you see in terms of experience in this division. If I had to pick a game of the week, though, I was gonna say, yeah, I think the Studs and the Bandits. I like that matchup. Again, two teams separated by two spots, right? Studs finished fourth with a 7-3 record. Bandits finished sixth, right, with a 5-3-2 record. So obviously those two ties helping out the Bandits there at the end of the regular season. Looking during the regular season, I don't think they played against each other. No, they did actually. So the Bandits actually knocked off the Studs 42-35 back in week 10. So that was back at the beginning of March, right? So I mean, listen, Studs, they want to get revenge and get the last lap, but obviously Bandits looking for the sweep here. So for me, that 4 versus 6 matchup again, Studs fourth, Bandits sixth. For me, that's gonna be my pick for game of the week here in the playoffs.
Okay, nice. Let's go on to
For it.
4A. Yeah.
So looking at 4A, postseason wise. So yeah, we had the division around again this past Saturday with these guys as well, right down in Broussard. So sure you got a chance to see some of these games. Penetrators, forfeit win, 30-0 over Are You Not Entertained? No, we were not entertained because you scored no points, didn't show up. Black Vipers, 46-30 over the Mofos. Ambush 35-19 over a veteran Team Ethnic team. And then Back to the Future edging out Rick and Marty. I think that was your pick for Game of the Week last week. I can't remember, but and it's Back to the Future with 42-35 over Rick and Marty.
Yeah, I think that was my game to pick. I think those are the two teams. I forgot. I don't know who I took. To be honest with you, but I'm pretty sure that or Ambush. It was that or
Well,
Ambush.
okay, yeah, so yeah, you said okay. I said Back to the Future and Rick and Morty. You said Ambush. You're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
those
bad.
are two
Yeah,
games. Yeah, exactly. So I was talking that to Ben and Phil's team and stuff for Ambush, but yeah, again, unfortunately for that forfeit. I mean, the Penetrators were the favorite team, so they actually moved forward. Black Vipers get upset for Mofos, so congrats to them. You guys make it to the next round. Ambush takes care of business versus Team Ethic. We were saying Team Ethic is more of an older version of a team, veteran guys kind of they're doing. I just think Ambush was a bit more. I think Ambush was a bit more athletic wise than them, and sometimes that kind of takes advantage of certain situations. I'm pretty sure. How many picks did? Yeah. So Bennett, Lowry threw 3 INTs, and they were all to Gabrielle Champagne. It was to a point where when you have a player like that, that's technically like, it's D1 caliber, talent wise, you kind of want to avoid him at all costs, and it's something that he did not do. And I think that's one of the main reasons why they end up losing this game. And then you had Back to the Future versus Rick and Marty, which is kind of wait. I score kept this game. So, fun fact: Back to the Future were only 5 players.
really. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there were 5 players.
Hey,
The 6th year, one guy was supposed to show up, never came. They won that game with 5 players.
hey, props to them. Props to them. All right. Okay.
They won that game with 5 players. It was hilarious. It was to a point where it was not hilarious, but it was just you're kind of rooting for the underdog. You know, you're like, are we actually gonna watch them win with 5 players? You know, and it's kind of to a point where Ricky and Marty were kind of in control, and then it came a pick here, an error pick here, and then a game comes. Matty Freeman threw 2 INTs, and then Justin Guthard made sure he used his legs. He made the right reads. He didn't throw any INTs, which was huge for him, and they got the win.
Hey, you don't turn if you protect the ball. I mean, that's definitely gonna help you.
Yeah, exactly.
It definitely helps
So,
you for sure.
moving forward, again, same situation. I don't think it shows the next. Yeah, it doesn't show the next teams that are playing.
I got them.
Okay.
I got the matchups. I got the matchups for you. Okay, so we got the number 1 seed in Trap Stars, right? Finishing first place in the division. They're taking on the number 9 seed, the Black Vipers. Those teams did not meet in the regular season this year. So again, that we always get that the luxury of when 2 teams don't meet, first time going at it in the postseason. You can't ask for much more than that. That's pretty cool. We have the number 2 seed, the Ducks, taking on the number 7 seed, the Penetrators. So that should be a really good matchup. We also have we have a battle of the 4 and 5 matchup is going to be sorry, I should do well, okay, I'll do 4 and 5. I'm supposed to do 3 and 6. My apologies. I'll do 4 and 5. Number 4, Nut and Run, taking on number 5, Ambush. These 2 teams met back in week 7. Ambush had a 30-20 victory. That was down in Broussard on Valentine's Day, right? So that's a bit of a ways back there. And the team you were just talking about a few moments ago, right? Back to the Future. Back to the Future, the number 6 seed taking on the number 3 seed and the Snowden Delhi Degens. Looking back to the regular season, these 2 teams did not play each other in the regular season. So get to look forward to that matchup for the first time coming up soon in this 3rd round of the playoff, pardon me, 2nd round, I should say, pardon me, of the postseason.
Yeah, if Back to the Future comes up in there, if they show up with 5 guys versus Snowden Delis, Snowden Degens.
Snowden Delhi Degens, yeah.
Yeah, so that they're gonna blow them out.
Get spanked.
Yeah,
they get spanked for sure.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna want to bring 6 guys playing versus a quarterback like Malinoff. because he's going to read you and he's going to make sure he uses his legs and he's going to understand what to do. So they're definitely going to want to be, if they want to get to the next round, they're definitely going to want to make sure that there's 6 guys going into that game. What's your out of the 4 matchups? What's your game?
Good question. I'm gonna go with ambush and nut and run. Again, that 4 versus 5 matchup was always intriguing. Like see it in the NBA playoffs. We see it. Well, the NHL now obviously the playoffs are a bit different, but you kind of think of that 2 seed and 3 seed kind of thing. Yeah, nut and run again. They lost ambush in the regular season. I think it's gonna happen again. I think ambush will get the clean sweep over nut and run.
Okay. Yeah, that's my game of the week too.
All right.
So Division 3.
Yep. So looking at Division 3, couple of blowouts, couple of close games as well. Start off like so the Petit Carat, obviously one of the favorites to win the division. A close one over the Ballhawks. They only won the game by 2, winning 34-32 in that contest. So really a tight loss there from the Ballhawks. So disappointing end to the season for that team. Alex Zaglinski 4 touchdowns in that game. Austin Yaspic McDonald threw another touchdown, but Jason Reyes, the leader, the quarterback of Le Petit Carat, 18 of 22, 179 yards and 5 touchdowns in that game. So obviously they came to play. They got the win. It's a 2-point victory there. We had they ran Surf a blowout, bit of a surprise, a blowout 46-20 victory, 46-30 victory rather over Beer Belly Brigade. Hustlers knocking off Eastway 29-20. Killer Rays beat down over Les Bernard Vifs 44-18. I had a chance to talk to Will Castonguay, a friend of the podcast, yesterday night, and he was just telling me, yeah, man, like he gave a lot of credit to the receiver for the Killer Rays there. I was trying to get his name. I thought he was going to say Curtis Ryan. See, Ryan only had like 2 catches for like 24 yards and a touchdown, but he said, yeah, Tyler Gerberg. Yeah. Will Castle is a guy, he's for real. The man had 6 catches, 126 yards, 4 touchdowns in the contest. So he obviously came to play. And then on defense, he had 3 INTs. So Will was like, yeah, he killed us. Like that one guy killed us. Although he did say his team just fell flat. That the quarterback, Juice Salve, had 4 INTs in the game. That's unlike him. Just couldn't protect the ball. Any type of football, if you can't protect the ball, you're not going to win. So yeah, congrats to the Killer Rays again. Blow off 44-18 victory over Le Bernard Vif. Terror Squad. So Tam's team shootout there, 46-36 over Don't Mess with Texas. The REIT, a close one, 36-30 win over the All Blacks. Another close game, Caroline, dropping a 50 burger as they went 50-42 over Speed Academy. And then to wrap up the action on Thursday, Win Diesel, as many expected, again, one of the favorites in this division as well, 47-26 blow-up victory over the Big Fat Bats.
Yeah, so interesting divisional round. One thing that's kind of cool about Division 3 is that there's no buys, right? So you literally get to see all 16 teams play last week, and then again we're going to go to the top 8 teams. The rankings are not out, so it's kind of hard to tell who's playing who officially. Not hard to tell, but it's kind of like it's how we have to kind of look at the standings and see who won. It seems like Le Pizzicat won, Les Ransars won, Terror Squad won, the REIT won, Speed Academy won, When Diesel Run, Killer Rays won. I could be wrong, but I think there was only 1, 2, 3. I think there was 2 upsets going into that divisional round.
Yeah, so Eastway.
Speed Academy lost. Caroline actually won that game, so that was 1 upset. Yeah. And then we had the Hustlers beating Eastway, so that was 2 upsets. Yeah. So we only had 2 upsets going into it. So technically, how it's going to work, we're going to have the Hustlers as playing the number 1 seed. That's going to be Les Pizzicat. Then you're going to have Caroline playing Les Ranseurs. And then we're going to get a rematch between Terror Squad versus Killer Rays, which is going to be kind of interesting. I got to kind of watch that game back in Chattagee, where Killer Rays did not look like Killer Rays at all. They got smoked. I think it was, I'll just look about it here. It was 48-30. And then I think Killer Rays got a last minute touchdown. So really, instead of losing by 18, they lost by 22 or 24. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that game unfolds. I'm pretty sure Tyler Gerbert wasn't there, and they're also missing their rusher. So the fact that you're missing your number one receiver and your rusher does change a lot. But again, Terror Squad's a veteran team led by Tam, quarterback of the year. So we're going to have a lot of players. We're going to have a lot of all-stars in this game. I'm pretty sure Tyler Gerbert won receiver of the year. Their rusher also won rusher of the year. So that's also a new award that we do offer on FlagPlus. Jared Arnie. He ended up winning rusher of the year.
Jared Arnie. Yeah.
He ended up winning rusher of the year with 16 sacks. So he was doing some damage this year. So we're gonna have a lot of all-stars playing this year. It's gonna be veteran. These are two veteran teams as well. Killer Race has been around the league for a while, and also Terror Squad is also a team that's been in the league for a while. So that's gonna be an interesting game to kind of look at. Then after that, we have.
Sorry. So hold on, Quaysie. So I will say so in that first meeting, Gerber did play.
Oh, he did. So
and I mean he had 3 touchdowns in that game. And then Randy, their rusher, he played as well. He had a sack.
Okay, so who wasn't there? I feel like someone wasn't there that game. Maybe it was what's the other receiver's name? He's really tall.
The two main receivers are Gerber and Curtis Ryan, right? So
Curtis Ryan at the game?
No, I think their whole squad was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Curtis Ryan, yeah, he was there. He played.
Okay, so again,
it was just a beat down. It was
they just got a beat down. Okay. For some reason I didn't know Tyler. I wasn't sure if Tyler was not there or not. But all right, no, they just got beat down by a Terror Squad. So again, I guess the rematch is up for it's gonna be an interesting rematch.
Yeah.
So that's the third seed. That's the third matchup. Sorry, I'm looking at it here. So we have that, and then going forward, we have the fourth seed. Sorry, my thing is not showing. Fourth seed. Sorry, the fifth seed. We're gonna have the REIT play when the REIT playing when Diesel. I want to say. I think that those are the 4 matchups. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And they're going to play When Diesel. That's also going to be an interesting matchup. I thought When Diesel, again, When Diesel was a 7 seed. They have no business being the 7 seed. I think they should have been a top 4 team. They should have been a top 4 team this year. Unfortunately, they dropped 3 games. They did drop one where they lost their quarterback. The quarterback wasn't there, so I think they would have won that game. So technically 8-2, they probably would have been around those top 3, 4 seed. But again, today it is what it is. So they're going to be the 7th seed. So it's going to be an interesting game. And I just want to give a shout out to the Rancers because to be honest with you, I thought they were going to be a one and done team. They ended up giving. Yeah, they ended up giving the work to Bear Belly Brigade, beating them 46-30. So they're rolling right now, right? They're to be honest with you, their defense is number 1 defense. Geoffrey, I don't want to pronounce your last name. I'm not gonna be able to do it, but he went 23 for 27, 210 yards, 7 TDs. So he did a great job. To score points. They scored 28 in the first half, 18 in the second half. So he was putting on points. Convert-wise, he won 2 for 1, and then 2 one-point converts, and then 1 2-point converts. He ran for 31 yards. Defense didn't play crazy. I'm pretty sure they got a couple stops, probably 2 stops. They also got an INT. Khalil Arbigi had 2 sacks, so he did a pretty good job on Alex Fafrond, the quarterback for Bear Lake. Yeah, Sarfaria. So he did a pretty good job. Their main target to me is Marc-Andre Lapointe for Bear Belly Brigade. He went 7 for 7, 78 yards, 4 TDs. So, I mean, they couldn't stop him exactly, but I don't think anyone was able to stop him this year. He had 88 catches this year. So, I mean, it is what it is to a point. Sometimes if a guy's going to get catches, he's going to get catches. But they still got the win at the end of the day, and they got a big win. They won 46-30, where the first half was pretty close, 28-24, but the second half they kind of took advantage. Defense came to play, only allowed 6 points, and they dropped 18 themselves. So I feel like right now they're rolling. They are the number one. I believe they're the number one defense this year, only allowing 205 points. So they kind of show the second half why they're the number one defense. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see their second round matchup versus Carolyn, which is also a heavy powered team that's scoring 337 points. Scoring about 33 points per game. So it's going to be interesting to see how many points they're going to allow Carolyn to score, and if they're going to be able to come out with a win or not.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see for sure. So yeah, so Carolina's one of the teams I have as like my dark horse for this division. I seen them play a couple of games. I like the quarterback, their leader there, Guillaume Belanger, and obviously Emile Bolula. We talked about him more in the spring, the fall season. Part of me, my apologies. He's a playmaker though. Like he's a playmaker on this team. I like a lot of what they're able to do. Like this team has a lot, and Vincent Bololo as well. Right, they're both brothers. Like these guys are really good players. I know Vincent has subbed a couple of times in Division Two. I know last spring I've seen him a couple of times beside his kids. He could ball. The team has weapons. Charles Beauchemin, small receiver, a speedy receiver though. He's tough, good hands. I like this Carolina team. So I mean, maybe they're not a sleeper anymore since I'm telling you guys about it, but this is a team I like, so it'll be interesting to see what happens for them, like continuing now in the playoffs as you talked about with their upcoming match. Because I think this is a team that they can get a couple breaks, they can definitely go all the way.
Yeah, they've been balling out. You kind of just see the amount of points they've been scoring this year too. So they've been doing a great job. It's a newer team that we don't really know about, especially for Division 3. You know, there's a lot of teams that actually dropped again in this division. 24 teams, you know, so there's a lot of teams. A lot of these teams were playing in 4A, 4B, some of them even 5A last year. So for them to kind of drop into Division 3, kind of get their name out and stuff like that, it's interesting to see. And I'm again, I'm excited for the matchups. I think the biggest I'm excited for that Terror Squad and Killer Rays matchup again, just because I know Killer Rays, I feel like they didn't play to their potential, and I think they should have done way better, even though Terror Squad's a veteran team. And they're the number one offensive team this year, scoring 411 points, leading by, Tam. That's the quarterback of the year, so it's going to be interesting to see. But I think that's going to be a very good matchup. And I'm also interested to see the matchup, again, Les Ransars versus Caroline, just to see how legit this defense is actually going to be playing a pretty powerhouse Caroline offense.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. 100%. I mean, again, I'm just excited. Like I'm just excited, man. Like there's some teams that I like scorekeeping. I mean, there's some teams more than others, obviously. And this is a team who I like, again, Caroline, who I've seen a couple of times. And again, like same as you, right? Even when we're not scorekeeping, we're still watching other games that are going on. And I remember saying to myself earlier in the season, like, all right, man, I want to see what happens. And again, there's a lot of teams in Division 3. Division 3 is usually the division that I play. Like, it's my favorite division. And like, I was talking to Will Castlegan yesterday, and he goes, "This division is like, it's like legit top to bottom." I go, "Exactly." He's like, there are favorites, but there's no runaway team in this division, right? And I think we've talked about this as well. Like, I think this Division 3 is like the hardest division to win, at least this season, because again, teams went all the way to the bottom. Like, it's pretty stacked, this division.
Yeah, and how cool is it that no one gets a free buy? There's no free buys, you know. Like,
yeah.
Hey, congratulations, you're number 1 seed. You played number 16 seed, and we just saw it right away, right? Like Pizzicato almost lost the Ball Hawks, so we almost saw a number 1 up. We almost saw
Yeah.
a first seed upset where most of the time top 4 teams get a bye, so they don't even get themselves in a situation like that. So it just goes to show how good every team actually is.
I couldn't say it better myself, but that's exactly it. And it's you're right. You go through that regular season, right? It's hard. 10 games is long, right? It's a long time. Right? We start all the way in January. We're at the end of April, right? And it's a long time. Again, we all have other stuff going on too, right? But it's to not have a bye, I think is huge. Not just time management, but also just injuries and that, right? And then, like you said, like you're going up right away. You're going out. You're playing the best of the best, right? Because, like you said, it's not like it's a matchup. Like, no offense, but it's not like a matchup between, I don't know, let's say 5 and like 14 or 5 and 12 or no, it's legit like best of the best. You get into this playoffs and it's goal time. It's literally the top teams in that division. It's so like, okay, we're gonna have like 20 teams make the playoffs and then we'll figure it out as we go along. No, it's top teams and that's it.
Yeah. No, I'm again excited to see. And the deeper the playoff run the deeper the playoff run goes, the more, well, not, I want to say better teams we get to see, but it compared to, instead of being 16 teams, now there's 8 teams, so it gets a bit more intense, and guys kind of see like what's guys kind of sorry guys see kind of the, oh my god, I can't talk, it's been a long day. Guys are closer to see a championship. It's different when you play the divisional round or the quarter round and then the semis, like when you're so much closer to the finals, so you kind of could feel it. It's just there. So the games are more intense. There's so much bigger plays, bigger tackles like that. So it's I'm excited. Let's go to Division 2.
Yep. Top order 2. So interesting. I mean, I wrote an article about this. I wrote my annual contenders, pretenders, and we're not sure yet article. I put it out. I think I put it on Monday. I did it. I actually had finished it the end of last week, but I put out a previous article, so I wanted to let that first one breathe. So I think I put this one on. I said the Sunday or Monday morning, one or the other. Again, go to FlagPlusFootball.com, click on the articles. You see my face. Click on it. You'll find my article. But I didn't do a playoff preview yet. So I know all these games are coming up Saturday. I will have a playoff preview out for you guys Saturday morning, so make sure to check it out. So let's get into these playoff matchups because the playoffs this is the opening round of the playoffs here in Division 2. So it is the quarterfinals, right? So no buys. Again, 1 through 8. So it's just the best of the best make it. So we have the top seed, LeBron Tourage, 7-3 record, taking on the number 8 seed, the Stoics, who just got into the playoffs. As you know, unfortunately, knocking out your team. These two teams met back in week 8, a blowout win, 42-20 by LeBron Tourage. Obviously, Chris Rive and his crew are looking to get some revenge to get the last laugh. So veteran squad, obviously, James Drysdale, Mike Pearson, Edouard Leroux, Chris Rive on the squad against some none of these guys are rookies. Ahmed Boubacar is not a rookie. Philip Peltier, the quarterback's not a rookie. But guys who are still kind of newish to FPF. I mentioned Phil Peltier for a reason. He was not the quarterback of this team last year. It was Gianni Cassetti, the Concordia receiver, kick returner / third quarterback. He was a quarterback in the spring season, or the fall season, pardon me, last year, and the spring season for LeBron Tourage. Now it's been Peltier's show, formerly of Le Petit Carrots. He comes over, gets the top spot in the division. I want to ask you, Chris Rive, right? He's been there. He's won championships. He's done that. One guy has a ton of playoff experience. The other guy has about less than 20 games of playoff experience. How much of a factor do you think that's going to be when LeBron Tourage takes on the Stoics?
I think it's gonna be a big factor. I already got called out from some of the guys from LeBron Tourage on some of their comments. From the recap, like we kind of talked about, I want to say it's been about like 8 weeks since that podcast came out. Kind of saying that I wasn't that hype on LeBron Tourage again. I figure they're going to make playoffs, but I didn't think they're going to make a deep run. Just because I think Division 2, it takes more experience than skill, I want to say. And I think at the end of the
Yeah,
day, I think they're going to have more mistakes than other teams would that are kind of been there for a while, right? So like teams like
right, right.
KGP Legends, teams like Stoics, teams like Idaho, teams like Silent Ticklers. I think those are the four teams where it's like they've been playing together for so long, or they just have a veteran presence around them where it just takes them to the next level where they're not going to make a mistake where a younger team, our quarterback captain will, So the Stoics and LeBron Taraj matchup. If Chris plays how he could play and doesn't get frustrated and just takes the dinks and the donks, and then it comes to a point where LeBron Taraj kind of gets frustrated, and they're like, "Okay, guys, we're going to play man," and he kind of sees the man matchup, and he uses James how he should be using James. I think offensively they should be fine. I think they should score every drive. I think they should hit points. I think converts is going to be a big thing. My only issue I have with the Stoics um, is their defense. But again, I think LeBron Taraj is going to have a mistake where the experience is going to be the issue with the mistake. I don't think it's going to be the players. I think it's totally going to be on the quarterback. I think he's gonna call something that he's gonna throw something that should have been thrown. It's gonna be an interception. It's gonna be a turnover. It's gonna be in favor of the Stoics. And I think if Chris could kind of capitalize on that play or that drive, I think it's gonna be the big difference. And again, it's also gonna come down on how Chris plays. But I think experience wise, I think Chris is going into this game knowing what he has to do. He's not going to show up just showing
Yeah,
up and like, this is a regular game for him. There's no way Chris is coming in like that. Chris is coming in locked in, and he knows what he knows what he wants, and he knows what he wants to do. Chris right now, like this game is April 25th, and he has it checked in his calendar. Like, okay, I'm coming in. I'm, I'm coming to play in this game. Again, I think Chris has he does. I think Chris has a chip on his back in this game, but I think if he plays the way that he knows he could play, I think they get out of this with a W, just because of the experience as well too.
Okay, okay. I'm torn. I mean, I don't want to reveal who I'm picking. Yeah, I mean that's gonna be the whole point of the article that I'll put out. I'll try for Friday night. I really doubt it, but for sure Saturday morning. First game is at 7 p.m. So it's gonna be yeah, 7 p.m. the action starts. Actually, all four games are at 7 p.m. So I'll have this out early in the daytime so everyone can check it out. Okay, so we go from that one again, 1 versus 8. We have the 2 seed KGP Legends taking on the number 7 seed and Hard 8. These two teams met in the regular season. KGP Legends beating Hard 8 39-34 back in week 7. Obviously, you're friends with Phil Cutler. Cutler obviously signing a contract to play in Arena League, if I'm not mistaken. So I imagine this could be his last dance potentially with KGP Legends, at least for the time being, while he plays some pro ball. So obviously, if that's the case, they're going to want to send him out on top with the
Yeah.
championship.
So regarding his situation with the pro league, from what I know, I think it's like more of a tryout that he's doing. Everything goes well. I think he's going to continue with the team. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't really get into it. I didn't really get to talk to him either. But I mean, for sure he's going to want to. If this is one of his, if he's going to be going back and forth anyways. But maybe he's not playing. I'm not sure he's playing next season because he's going to be in his tackle season. So again, you're saying that if he's going to leave for a season or two, he's definitely going to want to leave with a bang. So I think it kind of starts here with a Fibro matchup versus Hard 8. We get to watch a clash of the clans between Jeff Rosenblatt versus Phil Cutler, right? So it's been a matchup that we've seen a lot. I'm pretty sure they've played each other in playoffs at least over a dozen of times, where usually KGP Phil does get the better hand, but again,
Yeah.
Jeff has been playing way better than lately, whatever. So I think it's going to be an interesting matchup to see. What was your question? Sorry, I kind of got off
I
topic.
didn't really have a question. I was just saying like who do you think you get this win? Because I'm leaning towards a certain way. Yeah, I'll bring this up here. I wrote this in the article last week. Again, my contenders, pretenders, and we're not sure your article. I wrote about KGP again. They've had the same team for a million years. They don't have to worry about chemistry. They don't have to worry about timing. Something that I know you and I have talked about though with the squad concerning KGP is do they have the athleticism and the speed to keep up with guys like Sanders Armand, right? You have Sanders who's playing for the team. Nick Ropini is playoff eligible, so you know he's going to be playing for sure, right? Even
Yeah.
a guy like Jacob Saxton, he's huge rushes, but he can play some receiver as well. Paul Lapierre, right? It's a D and Mac this sort. Don't sleep on my buddy Mac. Mac is good and Craig Gay as well. Gab Charles, Dab Champagne, right? You talked about before Division 1 player playing in Division 2. These guys are all playoff eligible. I just don't know. I'd like to get your opinion since you played with KGP before. I just don't think they can hang athletically with Hard Eight.
So okay, so one thing with KGP, and I've been playing with them for a while. Um, they just keep scratching. You know, like you have a annoying itch, and it just kind of just it's
Yeah.
nonstop, just kind of scratching. Whatever you do, at the end of the day, they just come out of it. And that was kind of like
Right.
when I was
Right.
playing with them, like with the KGB legends and all those guys. Like that. That's kind of what we did. It didn't matter how talent wise you were. We came our our motto was bend but don't break. You know, give up the 20-yard run, give up the 5-yard run, give the 10-yard run. Try to stop the touchdown. If they score, fine. Offense goes in, Phil does his work, and then we reset. Right? So yeah, they don't have the biggest talented names, you know, the most athletic guys, but they have a system that works. You know, every single one of their guys understands their assignments, and they're not doing too much, they're not doing too little. They're doing what they've been told. And I think that's one of the big difference with this team is that they're not going to have a stupid bust where a guy didn't go deep because he was greedy with a coverage. Where sometimes you see a lot of teams that do that. They're not missing tackles. They're a team that doesn't make us miss. They don't miss many tackles. They're aggressive. They'll bump you. They're older guys, you know. They're veteran guys, and they understand what needs to be done to win games. That's one of the reasons why they finished in the second seed, right? They went 7-3. They lost 3 games where they dropped one to the Bruins back in week 6. So they started late. They end up losing to Silent Ticklers by 1. So that's 2 teams they lost by 1. And then I think they dropped one versus the Stoics where Chris had a really good game plan. He's kind of telling me, and everything kind of worked in their favor. But they beat Party Crashers, where again, Party Crashers is a athletic team where they do a lot of jump balls, little quick slant outs. They use their speed, athleticism, and they did a great job in that game. And that was a must win for Party Crashers. So it's not like they weren't trying. They beat Idaho, which technically came in as the clear contenders. They also beat Hard Eight back in week 7. You know, I'm not sure exactly who was there for that game. Kind of look up the roster here. So you had Paul, you had Gab, you had Sanders, you had Mac, you had Alex, you had Jamal Noel, which is a great rusher. So I mean, they pretty much had a good, talented squad in that way. And Phil did what he did. He went 18 for 28, 179 yards, 5 touchdowns, no INTs. Jeff had an INT, and I'm pretty sure that was the game changer there. And then you had their main guys, Matthew LaPaz, Jonathan Granfico, Ariel, 3 of their top receivers that did the work. You even have Parm. Parm was out there playing offense, which he never plays offense. He went 1 for 1 for 30 yards. So just probably a blown coverage from Hard Eight. And Phil took advantage of getting a touchdown. But they did what they had to do to get wins. And I think that's one of the big things with KGP is that they'll claw and scratch until the end of the game, where usually they end up being the team that's on the winning side.
They got some resiliency for sure, 100%. Like I said, they are a veteran squad. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Again, taking on Hard Eight, again, another veteran squad too, right? Who won't go down for the fight. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. We also have the 3 and the 6 matchup. So third seed Camping Boutin taking on the number 6 seed, the Silent Ticklers. Camping Boutin blew them out 38-20 back in week 2. A lot of the same things I said about KGP Legends I can say about the Silent Ticklers. Again, a team that's been in Division Two and FPF for a long time. They have some explosive playmakers, obviously led by Jordan Panetta, the quarterback on that team. Daniel Mancini, Jack Antaki. There's a lot of guys on this team who've been around the block. Tyson, Otis Copeland as well. Tanner Burrell, shout out to him. I just don't. I find a sleeping Silent Ticklers team usually puts together a pretty decent regular season. Usually able to get out of round one, but usually when it gets to round two or the semifinals, they have too many self-inflicted wounds, which leads to them getting bounced in the postseason. This time they're taking on a much better Cappy Boutte team. I'm hard pressed to see how Silent Ticklers get the W, but I mean, again, they're a veteran squad, right? If you do have one advantage on their side, it's going to be size over Cappy Boutte. How do you see this game playing out?
It's going to be on the rusher, I think. I'm not exactly sure who's rushing.
Mike Zanobi. It's going to be Mike Zanobi for
so,
Silent Ticklers.
Mike's a very good rusher. He knows what to do. I don't think he's as fast as Marc-Andre Reeves. So I think that might be an issue. Because the biggest factor, I think, with Canbute is Mark. Again, if Mark has a bad game, it's probably the main reason why it's probably the reason why you win games if he struggles. He likes to use his legs. We all kind of know that. If you could stop him from running as much, there's a good chance you're able to get a win. I personally think Mike is not going to be able to keep up with Mark. So I think I'm going to give the advantage to Cameron Brute because I think Mark's going to just kind of – it's playoffs too, right? Like it's to a point during the regular season, maybe you don't want to run as much, try to feed all your players. During playoffs, if Mark has to run every 2 plays, he's going to run every 2 plays. He's not going to be like, okay, guys, I'm going to share the play.
He will.
He's going to run. He'll run. He'll look to see if something's there. Again, Silent Ticklers are going to crash. They're a crashing team. They're a veteran team. They like to do a lot of things that are not fancy, but move a lot of guys, right? Run 1-3-4 with a 2-4 cross, or sorry, with a 2-5 cross, or run a 1-3 with a 2-4 cross, like just stuff to kind of get things moving, to also maybe freeze Mark a bit before he uses his legs. I just think when you're a quarterback and you feel comfortable with the rusher, it's a very hard situation for that defense of the rushing team when they don't have a good rush. I'm not saying Mike Zanobi is not a good rush. I just think Mark's a bit too fast for him. He's going to get a lot of contains. He's going to be able to contain him. I just think when Mark really wants to run, he's not going to be able to get him on the side. Like when Mark's first read is to run, you just catch the ball and you're running. I don't think Zanobi is going to be able to get to him. I think that's going to be one of the biggest issues in that situation. They played versus each other back in week 1. Again, week 1 is pretty early. Mark ran 5 attempts, 43 yards, 1 touchdown. So that means the 5 times he ran for about, I want to say 8 yards. So he's pretty much averaging a first down per run. I don't think Mike Zanobi was there. So that you kind of got a little of a taste on that situation there. Mike Zanobi had no sacks, no tackles either. So I don't think he was kind of bothered. He went 18 for 13. So I feel like he did roll out a couple times, or Mike did contain him a bit and just kind of went off target. But again, I don't think unless Mark kind of screws up, rolls out, throws a back interception, I think his legs are gonna take Cameron Brute past Silent Ticklers in this quarterfinal round.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, Mike Zanobi, he's a good guy, been in the league for a long time. He's a buddy. He's one of those like no quick guys. He's gonna keep on coming and coming and coming. Will he be able to get a sack or two?
Yeah, he doesn't.
See, I think with Marc-Andre Reeves, right? Sorry.
I said Mike doesn't give up. He's going to keep going. He's going to give you 100% each single rep. Yeah. Mike's going to keep. He's going to keep coming at you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. I think with Marc-Andre Reeves, right? I think the key against him is not getting the sacks. It's hard to sack him, right? He's so low to the ground, low center of gravity, and she's shifty, right? He's quick. He can cut on a dime. It's getting him, like you talked about, right, to get rid of the ball quicker and to throw those interceptions because you'll have one of those one or two like really bad passes a game. Usually they're not picked off, but sometimes they can be, right? I mean, so if you're signing ticklers, you're gonna need Zanobi to make sure Reeves can't hang on to the ball forever and wait for guys to get open. You're gonna have to get him to get the ball out of his hands quicker. So we'll see how that one goes on. And we have another 4 versus 5 matchup here in Div 2. It's going to be the 4 seed Idaho Ute Pimps taking on the number 5 seed, the Bruins. They met back in week 10, a close victory. Idaho Ute Pimps beating the Bruins 42-10 back in week 10. And for the Bruins, I mean that loss was part of what's going on right now. 5-game losing streak. This team has not won a game. Talking about the Bruins since February 15th.
Yeah, they're done.
Against against the winless Flag Slayer Corps.
I don't know what's going on with this team. This is to be honest with you, after week 3 when this team was 3-0, I was completely confused. And then they were 4-0, and then they were 5-0. And this is a team
5-0, yeah, exactly.
They were 5-0, and they end up finishing. They went 6-4. So they won the first game, won the second game, won their third game, won their fourth game, won their fifth game, lost their 6, lost their 7, and then won their 8. But again, this is a definition of a team as false kings. Definition of guys were like, if they had the same season they had, let's just say they won 8-2, I would have been like, this is the first team getting knocked out first round. I don't know. They're not the strongest roster. Like they have Juwan, they have Owen, they have good guys. It's just I'm surprised that they started how they started. I'm not surprised at how they ended. I don't feel like they have big enough names and guys that kind of could lead them past a first round. I think Idaho beats this team by 20. I think that we're going to get I think Idaho's going to drop 50. Yeah, I think they're going to drop 50 on these guys. I think Brady is literally going to just tear them apart. I'm feeling 50 to 26.
Wow. Okay. All right. So listen, the guys on the Bruins, they watch this podcast. So Evan and the rest of the boys, this is some bulletin board material, or whatever the case is now. Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's wow. I think Rocco Cristiano's gonna watch and he'd be like, all right, I gotta prove that guy wrong. Watch, we're gonna do what we do. You're right though. This team has playmakers. Like you talked about, obviously, Owen Bajarski, Juwan Edgehill, and that Rocco Cristiano, who I just mentioned. There's a couple other like sleeper guys on this team that I like. I've seen play. Joey Cochran, I believe that's his last name. Yeah, I've seen him play. This guy's like he's like that prototypical like in tackle. He plays receiver. I think he plays not for the Bombers. CFL guy. I got to check the team he plays on. I forget. He's a big dude. Like he's a big, thick receiver, good hands and that. There's a lot of other guys that have played in this league for a while. Gab Wiseman as well, right? One of those quiet leaders every team needs. They have size, they have skill, but it's just again, this has been like the story of this squad, whether they're the Bruins or Poseidon's Kiss. They're one of those teams they'll put together like 3-4 wins in a row, but then they'll lose like 3 or 4, or in this case, 5 games in a row, right? They're really hot or they're really cold. And right now they're cold, right? I'll have my picks for this game in the article, but I mean, they're taking on Idaho Ute Pimps team. They're coming to this game again, Idaho Ute Pimps. In every division they play, every season, they're always a contender, right? Whether they win a championship or not, it doesn't always happen. More often than not, they do win it when the champions, say the Natty, sorry, but they do win the championship. They are the definite favorites heading into this contest, despite heavy favorites, really, despite it being a 4 versus 5 matchup. They're coming into this game winners of 3 out of the last 4. One of those wins does include that win over the Bruins. Brady Johannesson, right? You said he's going to tear up the Bruins defense. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see. But again, that's a challenge to the Bruins. The Bruins, you guys are going to man up now. The Bruins need to man up. They've had a couple weeks off. Their last game was October 6th. This game is on Saturday the 25th. They'll have nearly 3 weeks off since their final regular season game. into the playoff game. You guys got to step it up and figure out what's wrong because your season will be done. If you guys don't, your season is over 100%. So that's a challenge to the Bruins. Can you guys step it up and get the upset win?
Let's go Division 1. So Division 1, again, no action happened. Looking at the playoffs section. So we actually have all the games that are happening. We actually have a first round on Wednesday. So we have a first round tonight. April 22nd. So we have the first round tonight. We're playing Fins Up versus Vultures. So that's going to be an interesting game to kind of watch. Then we got Easy W versus Party Crashers, the Infantry versus the Braves, and then Royal Lumini versus One Stop.
Interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited. Excited for this again. The best of the best, right? The cream of the crop in FPF Division One. Yeah. And like I said, the action starts Wednesday, and then we got some games on Saturday. It's weird. The games are usually all on the same day, but
Yeah.
maybe because of
Well,
scheduling
yeah, it
preferences.
might have been a schedule conflict between Vultures and Fins
Yeah,
Up. I know Will Powers, type of guy that plays on multiple teams. You have Benny that plays on multiple breeds. You have Breezewell that plays on multiple teams. So I'm sure you have a lot of guys that play on multiple teams, and there were going to be a situation there, so that's why they got themselves playing on Wednesday. But it's going to be interesting again. Like I think the most obvious game to kind of look at is going to be the Infantry versus the Braves.
of
Um,
course, of course. Yeah.
I think I don't like they played versus each other. I think twice this season. Where the Braves, I think the Braves got one of the. I think the Infantry won the first one. No, Braves won both. Braves won one. They only played each other once this year. Infantry. Yeah, they only played against once. Infantry lost 21. It was Party Crashers. They played twice. Sorry. Infantry won. Braves won 32-21. But again, playoff season, regular season doesn't matter. Doesn't mean much. We get to see Kevin Wyatt. We get to see Joe Meyer. We get to see Rory. We get to see. Trying to think of guys from the Braves. I'm pretty sure I'm not sure exactly because I don't think their 5v5 team is the same thing as 6v team. But we get to see JD. I think Gab's on the team too. William, I want to say on the team.
You're saying all those guys. Okay.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Get to see basically. I would like to say the two top quarterbacks going at it in the first round. Usually this is a championship matchup. Or usually, I think the past two seasons we got to see both of these teams play versus each other. So we're kind of seeing new things, right? We're also seeing Braves finish 6-4 this year. Party Crashers led the whole way, being 10-0. Vultures sneaked in over there, being 6-4. So shout out to Benny. He had a great year. I believe he also won Quarterback of the Year too. So congrats to him. This is also Vultures, a team where they started from Division 6 to then they went Division 5 and then 4, then 3, then 2, and now they're at 1 where you have Benny over here winning Quarterback of the Year in Division 1. So a little shout out to him on his what's it called his climb getting to to one of the hardest divisions in FPF that we offer here, and pretty much the best talent, and so and so and so and so, etc. But if out of the four matchups we have here, I'm looking at the Infantry versus Braves. I think to me, Party Crashers and Easy W. I want to say Party Crashers are going to take care of Easy W. I don't think they have enough firepower to run with Party Crashers. Fins Up and Vultures are going to be a very interesting game. I think this is going to be a more of a chess matchup between these two teams. And then I think Royal Luminar in One Stop, that's just going to be I want to say it's going to be a shootout. I want to say both of these teams are kind of equal when they're a full roster. I think it's really going to be based on how Jesse Dupree plays. He's been having a struggling year. He's thrown 18 INTs this year. He went for 2,126 passing yards, 38 TDs. So that's okay. It's not bad. He's averaging about 4 touchdowns per game. But then he has 18 INTs. So he's averaging 4 touchdowns, but he's throwing about 2 of them each game, getting sacked at least one time, completion rate of 62.5, QB rating of to 98.9, so not the greatest. So I think it's really going to be on him and how he plays. I think if he has one of those games where he's going to throw 2 INTs, I think One Stop takes that game. But if he's able to have one of those games where he played Braves from his last matchup, where he went 14 for 19, so he didn't really have to throw the ball as much. 213 yards, 4 TDs, and converts wide. He got 2-point converts, and he used his legs. He ran the ball three times for 46 yards, and he also ran in for a touchdown. If he's able to kind of play that type of game, I think they're able to get the win. And also, I think Isaiah Allard is also going to be a big impact in that game, rushing Michael. The quarterback from One Stop is the quarterback.
Mike Caparelli.
Yeah, sorry, Caparelli. I was trying to pronounce
Mike Caparelli.
Yeah, Michael Caparelli. I think
he was on the show last week. Come on now.
Last name. Michael Caparelli. I think Isaiah is going to be one of the top reason. Like if One Stop loses the game, I think Isaiah is going to have a big impact in that game. Taking away the middle of the field, using his long arms, and also making sure that Mike is not able to kind of feel comfortable as running as much, right? We're kind of saying Division I is a bit different now, first down to midfield. So as Mike was kind of saying on the podcast last week, 1 bad completion, 2 bad completions, you're in a really tough situation, right? So the fact that the middle of the field shouldn't be as open, I think that's going to be a big big advantage for Royal Luminaria if they could use it properly.
You're right. I mean, that the rusher, he's the best rusher.